Hello, we will discuss about the Born-Haber cycle which we were discussing. In Born-Haber cycle, now roughly I have given you a picturization of what actually happens. Born-Haber cycle for the formation of NaCl. NaCl, that too, why do we use this Born-Haber cycle? We use it for the calculation of lattice energy. Now let us write the equations separately and I'll explain you how you can present it in your examination. So first step, you know, sodium combines with chlorine to form sodium chloride. So the statement what you write, formation of sodium chloride from its elements. This will be the main step. Step 1. Or say this is the main step. Now NaCl formation means we know formation of 1 mole of a substance from its constituent element. So we are not going to balance here. That is why sodium is 1, chlorine is 2, but here chlorine is 1. So how should I balance it? By writing a fraction here, 1 by 2. So half of Cl2 will combine to form NaCl. Now here I have to write delta H of formation is equal to plus or minus Q kilojoule per mole. This is the first step you will mention. Hope I'm clear with it. And the next step, now we have to write the stepwise reactions that takes place, because I have told you that there are many other steps, or the reaction takes place in different steps, and those reactions I have to mention now, or we have to mention it. Which were those steps? First we have to convert sodium into Na plus in its gaseous state, Cl2 into Cl minus in its gaseous state. Now let us mention its states. Sodium is in solid state, chlorine in gaseous state, NaCl in solid state, ionic compound. Next we will write step 2. Now we will concentrate on sodium. Sodium getting converted into sodium is in its solid state. We will convert it into sodium in its gaseous state. So what is it called as? Sublimation. So second step you will mention sublimation of solid sodium. I am trying to simplify the concept to you so that I am generally representing it as plus or minus Q kilojoule per mole. Every step has its own enthalpy values. So if you do remember, you can write the same. Otherwise, generally I am just representing here. Sodium is converted into its gaseous form. That means sublimation is taking place directly from solid form to gaseous form. Here what is the enthalpy called as? Delta H of sublimation. Now from here onwards, I'll write it as Q1, Q2, Q3, because here this is a main step reaction, formation step, so I've just taken it as Q. Now here I will take it as plus or minus Q1 kilojoule per mole. Clear? So this is one more step. Now we got sodium in its gaseous state, but what do we want? We want in its ionic state. So step 3. Ionization of gaseous sodium into its ion. So what happens during ionization? Ionization, 1 electron is lost from sodium so that it gets converted into Na plus. Sodium in its gaseous state gets converted into sodium ion. Ion means you have to mention plus here. Again in its gaseous state it remains. How it has become positive? By losing 1 electron. So 1 electron is lost. So plus 1 electron. Now what is its delta H value? Delta H of ionization energy, IE, is equal to plus or minus, I will take this as Q2 kilojoule per mole. So now we have got sodium in its ionic form. What do we want? Next we have to concentrate on Cl. Again for Cl2 I have told you that Cl2 means Cl and Cl has a bond. We have to break the bond. Breaking of bond is called as dissociation. So step 4 is dissociation of chlorine molecule. Now you call it as a molecule, isn't it? Because it is combined. Chlorine molecule into chlorine atom. Next, if we convert that atom into ion, dissociation of chlorine molecule. So half Cl2, which is already in gaseous state, you convert it into Cl, which is in gaseous state. Only one Cl you will be writing here. Here delta H of dissociation, D, which is equal to plus or minus half Q3 kilojoule per mole. Q3 kilojoule per mole. Clear? So this, I'll just erase the above equations. Hope you will understand. Next, after this one, what should we do? We have to convert chlorine atom into its ion. We have to convert chlorine atom into its ion. So step 5 is conversion of chlorine atom into chloride ion. Now you call the ion Cl minus as chloride. Chloride ion. If you don't understand, write it as Cl minus ion, if you find it very difficult. Now chlorine atom means Cl is in its gaseous state. Now you have to convert it into Cl minus ion in its gaseous state. Now you tell me, if you have to convert a neutral atom into a negatively charged species, into an anion, what is it? What is it called as? You should see that the gaseous neutral atom accepts an electron and gets converted into its anion. It's called electron affinity. It should have tendency towards electron. So it gains an electron and gets converted into Cl minus. So one electron is extra there. So here delta H of Ea. Ea means electron affinity, plus or minus Q4 kilojoule per mole. Next, now you have got Na plus in its gaseous form, Cl minus in its gaseous form. The last step is, step 6 is, that is Na plus and Cl minus in gaseous form combines to give 1 mole of sodium chloride. So Na plus in gaseous state plus combines with Cl minus in gaseous state to form NaCl solid. Now what is it? The energy liberated when 1 mole of ionic compound is formed from its constituent gaseous ions is called as its lattice energy. So that energy is called lattice energy, or it is also called lattice enthalpy. We do not know what it is. Hope till here it is clear. this much. After writing this, you have to write, now using Hess law, or according to Hess law of constant heat summation, according to Hess's law of constant heat summation, we do apply, that is delta H of formation, that is the main step, which is equal to the standard enthalpies of the other steps. Standard enthalpies of other steps means delta H1, or say delta H of, which was the first one, sublimation. First sublimation takes place, then ionization of sodium takes place. Next step is delta H of dissociation of chlorine. Next, delta H of electron affinity of chlorine to chloride ion. Then last comes the lattice energy, delta H of lattice. Now you have to substitute the values here. Therefore, Q1 is equal to Q2 plus Q3 plus Q4 plus, we have started giving the namings from here, isn't it? Therefore, Q is equal to, here, Q1 plus Q2 plus Q3 plus Q4 plus delta H of lattice. We do not know what is lattice enthalpy here. Now, after substitution, you can arrive at the value. Therefore, delta H of lattice, I have mentioned it as 788 kilojoule per mole. It is plus 788 kilojoule per mole. Sorry, minus 788 kilojoule per mole, since it is energy liberated. Kilojoule per mole. So this is about Born-Haber cycle, where you have to mention these steps. Next most important part is you have to mention how Hess law is used and how it is calculated. Then mention delta H of lattice. Last thing which you have to mention very importantly, again the unit of it. You have to mention the unit in every steps and then calculate. So this was about Born-Haber's cycle. Next we'll move on to the next important topic here. In this unit, we study an important process called as spontaneous process. So what is spontaneous process? Spontaneous process means it is an irreversible process. You cannot reverse that process, but using some external agency, maybe you can reverse that process. Okay, so spontaneous process means it is an irreversible process and may only be reversed by some external agency. The process which is irreversible means which cannot be reversed and can be reversed only with some external agency. with some external agency. We call this property as spontaneity also. This property we also call as spontaneity. Spontaneity we call. Now in the spontaneous process, to study the spontaneity of the reaction, how spontaneously the reaction takes place, how continuously the reaction takes place. It takes place continuously. So we say it is a spontaneous process. To check the spontaneity of the reaction, we have certain parameters or certain properties through which we can study the spontaneity of the reaction. So one such important property is called as entropy. You know what is enthalpy, isn't it? Enthalpy is the heat content of the system you study. This is entropy, E-N-T-R-O-P-Y. Entropy. And the denotation of entropy is capital letter S. Entropy is denoted as capital letter S. Entropy means the measure of disorderness. Now say for example, we will consider a solid system. A solid system has all the particles compactly packed, tightly packed. We'll consider a liquid system. In liquids, the particles are orderly arranged but not like that of solids. And they have ability or tendency to flow. Whereas in gas, you know, the particles are free to move. They are free to move. Now my question is, where the orderness is more and where the orderness is less? Where the order is more and where the order is less? If you see in solids, can you tell that the order is more? Yes, the particles are orderly arranged. They are compactly packed. They have a particular order. They do follow it. So, the measure of randomness means just moving here and there. You call randomness or disorderness. Disorderness is less. That means order is more, disorderness is less. Come to the liquid. Compare solids and liquids. Now you take particles, okay? Say you take a stone. In stone, do you say the particles are moving here and there? No, because they are all orderly arranged. So disorderness is less in a stone. Take water. In water, do you say the particles are same like that of solids? No, the particles they are arranged such that they can flow. The liquid state means the liquid can flow easily. So compared to solids, that is stone, in water the disorderness is more. So we say entropy is more in liquid. Come to gas. Take air as an example. In air, do you say the particles are orderly arranged? No, disorderness is more there. So we say entropy is more in solids, gases. Are you getting the point? Entropy is nothing but the measure of degree of disorderness or randomness in a system. In thermodynamics, you know, we don't call as we don't use some other terms to mention the part of the universe which is under study. We call it as a system. So in a solid system, the disorderness is less, so entropy is less. In liquids, disorderness is more, so entropy is also more. In gases, disorderness is too much, so entropy is very high in case of gases. So what is entropy? What I mean to say is, entropy is the measure of degree of disorderness or randomness in the system. So write the definition for entropy. The measure of degree of disorderness or randomness in the system. In the system is called as entropy. is called as entropy. In which system the entropy is more? Entropy is more in gases, then liquid, then solid. So entropy order will be in gases entropy is more, then in liquids the entropy is less, but it is more compared to solids. So you have understood what actually entropy means. Now there are some important expressions for entropy, that is change in entropy is given as, it is called as a state function. Entropy is called as state function. You know why it is called as state function? Because the measure of entropy depends on initial and final state. This means change in entropy, delta S, is given as S2 minus S1. That means it is dependent on final state and initial state of the system, and hence entropy is a state function. Entropy is a state function. There are few other expressions for change in entropy. Change in entropy can be given as Q by T. Q means heat, T means temperature. So Q by T, that is Q of reversible by T. That means if suppose you increase temperature, what happens? Or if you supply heat to the system, what happens to entropy? Entropy increases, isn't it? Takes a liquid, normal water you take at room temperature, just start boiling water or start heating water. What happens if you heat water? The particles will start moving even more faster. That means kinetic energy increases, the disorderness increases, the molecules, it was moving to some extent, but now the movement of the particles is even more. Therefore, we say entropy is more when temperature increases. Therefore, we have the expression change in entropy is equal to Q of reversible by temperature. This is one expression we have. Then if we have to say total entropy of the system, change in entropy of the system, or total entropy change. Total entropy means we have to calculate the total entropy change in the system plus total entropy change in the surrounding. Am I right? So if we say entropy in the universe, then you have to see what is the entropy within the system and what is the entropy outside the system. That means outside the system we call it a surrounding, and the total entropy will always be greater than 0. That means it will be positive. Positive means it is more. Disorderness is more. So these are some important expressions that you have to understand for entropy. Using this entropy, we can calculate the conditions for spontaneity of the reaction also.